Hello my dear students, welcome you back again in the video lecture of database management system, and it is the last unit number 5. In this unit we are going to discuss database security and transaction processing. This is a 5.1 unit, and in this video lecture we are going to discuss 5.1 in details. After watching this video, student can easily explain what is the need of data security. Then student can explain data security requirements, and last, student can easily explain how to create user in the database management system. My dear students, 50% of this unit is already covered in previous units, and this is a 50% revision of your previous units. Some new concepts are there and they are very easy. This is a minimum 10 marks unit, and maximum you can have a 14 marks from this unit in the MSBT question paper. So first point, what is a database security? A security is nothing but it is a technique or it is a process to protect the data from unauthorized user or from the illegal users. So it is a protecting your data from the accidental damage or unauthorized users. So it is called as a security. Okay. Security is more important in the day-to-day database system because a data is having a different properties, okay, and that data loss can create a major problems in the organization. Suppose we have an organization like a bank. If that bank database is disclosed, then it is very harmful to the user who are accessing the banks or who are using the bank organization. Okay. So a security is a major part in the database management system. Data security is nothing but to have authorization and authentication, also to avoid unwanted use, unwanted access of data by end user. So basically we are securing the data hardware part, software part, as well as from the users. Database security consists of following issues. Okay, data secure करणं म्हणजे काय हे फार महत्त्वाचे आहे. डेटा सिक्युअर करणं म्हणजे काय, आपला एक स्टुडंट डेटाबेस आहे तर तो कुणाला ॲक्सेसेबल असावा, कोणी तो व्ह्यू करावा किंवा कोणी त्यात मॉडिफिकेशन करावे. इट इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. अदरवाइज दॅट डेटा मे बी लॉस्ट. Okay, or a confidentiality of data may lost. Okay, so these are the basic two reasons. Data can get corrupted, get lost, or the confidentiality of that data can be lost due to the unwanted access of user or unauthorized user. So basically these are the 5 points are considered in the database security. First is thief, means unwanted users or unauthorized user can use your data, can have a fraud or can use that data for unwanted activities or illegal activities. So this is the third part, that data required to be secure. Then loss of confidentiality and sensitive data or important data can be accessed by unauthorized user can lose your confidentiality. Okay, so for this we can have an example like this. User has this username and password. If username and password of bank can be accessed by another user or can be occupied by the another user, then there will be big loss of that account or that user. Okay, so security is more important to hide, to protect a data from unauthorized user. Then Third, a loss of privacy. So some private information can be lost. So database of hospital, okay, if that patient data is available to everybody, then privacy of that patient can be lost. Okay, so that is a privacy. Or nowadays in the social media this problem arises, okay, data privacy. Okay, then next, loss of integrity. Okay, so this is a major problem where we required a data security. Integrity means what? A multiple number of users can accessing the same data can have a multiple different variants. Okay, everybody is changing the data, then there will be no any constant data. So that integrity problem, integrity means a same copy cannot be available to all because everyone is changing that data. So that is a problem of integrity. Okay, so there are multiple copies of same data can be created, multiple variants of the same data can be created. So that is the integrity problem. And last, loss of availability of data. Due to the unsecured environment, required data cannot be accessed. Okay, because multiple variants can be created, dummy data can be created. So these are 5 important points. Due to that, data security is required: thief and fraud, consistency and secure, then data privacy, data integrity and availability. So these are the 5 important points. Due to that, we required a database security. Then a next important point which is asked multiple times in your MSB education paper: what is a data security requirement? Why data security requirement is essential? Okay, security is nothing but we are protecting, we are preserving the confidentiality, privacy of the data from unauthorized user. Okay, so this is a basic thing of the data security, and the 3 basic accept or 3 basic points where a data security requires are confidentiality, integrity and availability. So these are the 3 important requirements of data security: confidentiality, integrity and availability. So confidentiality, integrity and availability are the basic requirements of the data security. Confidentiality is nothing but a secure system ensures the confidentiality of the data, or the system which having the high level of security gives the confidentiality of the data, means the data can be accessed or seen by the authorized user only. So that data cannot be lost. The authentication and authorization are the 2 processes through that a stored data, a sensitive data can be accessed by only the authorized user. So that is called as a confidentiality. Confidentiality means it cannot be lost the privacy, sensitive data of individual user. So that is confidentiality is a basic requirement of data security. Next, integrity. Integrity is the second most requirement of the data security. Integrity means protecting the data from deletion and corruption. Okay, these are the 2 basic factors of integrity. So integrity is nothing but a deletion and corruption. Already I have discussed that multiple copies or same data can be accessed by the multiple users, then it may be lost of data or the data may be corrupted because it have a multiple forms. So security is required to avoid a integrity loss of data. So deletion and corruption of data is avoided using the integrity maintenance. In this case, multiple users are accessing a same data, that is a parallel database, and data security is a essential thing to have a integrity of the data. Third requirement of security is availability. Availability is nothing but an authorized user will get the access of data anytime, anywhere, without any delay. Okay, so that is called as the availability. If your data is stored in the database, it must be accessed by the authorized user at any time. That will be called availability. And security requirement is a basic need is availability. Data must be available for the authorized user. So confidentiality, integrity and availability are the three basic requirements of the data security. For confidentiality, we have username and password. For integrity, there must be a read and write permissions are given. Availability means if user is authenticated, it can get the access of data at any time. So you can have a basic example of this. Okay, for this type of data security is maintained in the banking system. In banking system, nobody can access the information about another account. ओके, तर बँकिंग सिस्टीममध्ये माझा अकाउंट असेल तर दुसरा कुठलाही व्यक्ती माझ्या अकाउंटचे डिटेल्स बघू शकत नाही. इंटिग्रिटी मीन्स व्हॉट? विदाउट द ओनर और बँक अकाउंट, ज्याचं बँक अकाउंट आहे त्यानंच जर ट्रान्झॅक्शन केलं तर त्या डेटामध्ये काहीतरी चेंजेस होतील. ओके, विदाउट दॅट customer there will be no any deletion, updation of the account. And availability means what? If a customer has an account and it has a username and password and internet connectivity, he can log in to internet banking anywhere in the world. So that is called as the availability. So these are the three factors of data security requirement. So it's are the three basic factors. This question is asked multiple times in your MSBT question paper. So you must write down the definition of data security, then list out the three data security components, then explain that with proper example. Okay. So in the database, most of time data resides or it is stored in the primary memory or in the secondary memory. Basically it is a secondary memory in the hard disk. So basically there are two things, authorization and authentication. So authentication is a first process where user identification is very important, where user has username and its password. Also it may have user ID with the photo identification. Okay, so authentication is nothing but identifying the identity of that user. That user is having a specific parameters like a ID, password, photo. Okay, so that process of identifying the user is called as a authentication. And authorization is a process to verify that user is authenticated. So, okay, it is a process of getting the information about a user who is accessing the system is authenticated, means it must have a proper username and password. If it is a match, then it can be get the access. So it is called as a authorization. Okay, so these are the two basic words, authentication and authorization. Authenticate means it must have username, password. Okay, so we can identify that person. And authorization is a process to finding out it's a authentication. Okay, so these are the two important points. You must have the basic knowledge about the authentication and authorization. Also you must find out the difference between authorization and authentication. If user is authorized, then he can access the data in the read or write mode. So it can read or write the data. So these are the basic two operations on the database, that is read and write. Or we can modify the data, we can insert a data, we can delete a data. Okay, if user is authorized, then user can have this operation on the data. The next part in this unit, different types of database users. My dear students, this is the same point we have discussed in unit number 1st. In architecture diagram of DBMS system, we have different types of users, and this is the same as that of. So basically we have 6 types of user. So database administrator is known as a DBA. So it is a person or a team who has overall control on the database. So it has a full control on the database, so it can decide which schema, which table is going to create or modify. It can have a privilege to take a backup or to have a data recovery. A DBA account is a super user of your database. DBA can repair, DBA can rechange, or DBA can have authority to repair the damaged part of your database like a hardware or software. So database administrator is a super user of your database. Already we have seen the different functions of DBA in chapter number or unit number 1. So you must watch the video of unit number 1 where we have discussed in detail DBA. The next user is Navy user, okay, or parametric end user. A Navy user is unsophisticated user who does not have any detailed knowledge about DBMS. Okay, it does not have a technical knowledge about DBMS, but it can use the application frequently. Okay, for example, a user who is making a reservation of a railway, or who is booking the railway ticket, is a Navy user because he does not know how that system is created, but he can easily use that. So that is called as a Navy user. So it is an unsophisticated user, does not having a technical details. Then third, system analyst. Okay, a system analyst is a technical user. He knows the basics of DBMS and he is checking basic requirements of system to have a 100% use of database management system. So system analysts are the users who analyze the requirements, needs of end user and make the availability or make a specific coding to get that analysis and to provide this analysis to database designer to change the database or database management system. So that is a system analyst who analyze the requirement of the end user. So that is the third type of user. Fourth, it is a sophisticated user. A sophisticated users are engineers, scientists, a business analyst, okay, who has a primary or basic information about the database. They have a technical knowledge, okay, so they can develop an application according to requirement. They knows programming about the database. So these are called as a sophisticated user. Fifth, a database design engineer. Okay, so database design engineer are a technical user who knows a basic physical structure of database, who knows a schema, who knows table, index, view, constraint, trigger, what is a stored procedure. So he knows all the basic things, so he can design a database as per the requirement. A sixth user is application program user. Application program user knows a basic programming of DBMS, SQL, so he can design a program or code, or he can create an application as per the need of end user. So he can develop a application who using that application we are accessing the database. So he has a basic knowledge about the SQL, Oracle, DB2 like DBMS systems. Also he has a knowledge about programming language like Visual C++, Visual Basic, C, Fortran or COBOL. So this is a sixth type of user. Last, it a temporary user or casual user. So this type of users are not using the database frequently. Most of time these are the higher level administrative person. They are using the database after a specific time period. Okay, so these are the called as the casual users. Okay, so they are the higher management users or lower management users who are not using database more frequently. So these are the 7 types of users. Okay, DBA, then sophisticated user, novice user, application user. Okay, so these are the 7 types of users. So database administrator, novice user, system analyst, then sophisticated user, database design engineer, then database application programmer, and last casual user. So in your MSBT question paper, definitely there will be 4 marks question. Explain different types of users in the database. So my dear student, up till now we have seen what is the data security, how the different types of database users are there. Now it is a reflection spot. Listen the question carefully. Explain the data security requirement. Stop this video, write down your answer. After writing your answer, play this video again. Yes, database security is a process to have a confidentiality and privacy of the data from unauthorized users. Basically, there are 3 requirements of the database security: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now, in the second part of this video, we are going to discuss how to manage users. My dear students, this point is also we have discussed, we have taken a practical on this. So how we are going to create a user. So these are the DCL statement. Using that we can create a users. Basically, database administrator has a facility to create a new user. So we can create a user, we can create a role, a DBA can provide the privileges, grant the privileges, and taken out the privileges using the revoke. So already we have discussed, this is a revision type of discussion. So basically there are 5 types of activity can be done by the database administrator. It can create user account or role. Then second, DBA can grant the role to the users. DBA can revoke the role from the user. DBA can delete a user. DBA can change the attributes and password of the specific user. So my dear students, what is a role? Okay, up till now we have seen how to create user. Okay, so previously we have discussed how to create a user. What is a role concept? Okay, role is a collection of privileges and that has given a specific name. When there are many users in the database, it has become very difficult to provide individual privileges to individual user. Then we are grouping the users together and we are providing them a role. So revoking and granting privileges to the group of people, it is easy by the role. So role is nothing but it is a group of privileges and access rights. Okay, generally there are 2 types of role: user defined role and system role. Okay, a system role is basically 3 system roles are there. This point is not in your syllabus, but it can be asked. Okay, so these are the 3 basic system roles: connect, then resource, and third is DBA. A connect role will create a table, create a view, create a synonym, create a sequence, create a session. Then resource is another role where it can create a procedure, create a sequence, creating table, creating trigger. Okay, so these are a second role. Resource is one role who restrict the access of the database object. Okay. Last, a DBA, database administrator. It has all the privileges. Okay. So these are the three system roles. Okay. Previously we have discussed how to create a user. So to create a user, we have a syntax: create user and username, then identified by a password. So this is a basic syntax: create user, then username, identified by, and password. Okay. So example: create user Smith, identify, this is its password. It is very simple to create a user. So DBA can create a user using the create user command. Create user command has a syntax: create user, then username, identified by, and password. Okay. So it will create a user. Then how to create a role? So you can create a role by using create role, and you can give the role name. Okay. So you can easily create a role. So create role manager. So manager is role, and to this manager you can assign the privileges using grant and revoke. Next, how to assign a role to the user. So to assign a role to the user, we have previously seen a grant and revoke command. Okay. Granting is nothing but to assigning, and revoking, it is a taken back. Okay. Grant role name to user, grant manager to Smith. Okay. So it is a grant is your command, manager is your role, to is your keyword, and Smith is a username. Okay. So now Smith is a manager who having a manager privileges. If you want to taken out a role from the user, then it is a very revoke command is used. Revoke role name from username. If I want to taken out a manager role from the Smith, then revoke manager from Smith. So revoke is a command to take privileges or take a role from the user. Last point in the discussion: how to delete a role or how to delete a user. In DBMS, database management system, when you want to delete anything completely, then you are using a drop keyword. Drop role name, that is a drop role manager will automatically delete a role of manager, and it revokes all the permissions from the user who has a manager. एकदा जर मॅनेजर रोल डिलीट केला तर त्याचे जेवढे युजर जे मॅनेजर आहेत त्याचे परमिशन, मॅनेजरच्या परमिशन रिवोक होतील ऑटोमॅटिकली. ओके. इफ यू वॉन्ट टू डिलीट अ user, then drop user and username. So it is very simple. Drop user and username will delete a user from the database. If you want to change attributes and password of the user, then you can easily change a user name password using alter user username identified by password. So you can alter the username, alter user Smith identified by John 1. So we are changing this password, alter user Smith. So we cannot change the name of the user, but we can easily change the password using the alter command. So create, delete. For delete it is a drop and alter. Create, drop and alter are the basic command. And to give the privileges or to give the role to the user, grant role name to username. To revoke the role, revoke role name from a username. So these are the basic things about the data security, its requirement, and some revision part: how to create a role, how to assign a role, how to create a user, how to delete a user. So from this video lecture you can easily get the 8 marks. So there will be basically 3 questions from this: how to create a user using the create and drop command, or how to create and alter the user, how to drop a role, or how to assign a role using grant and revoke. And also there will be definite question, what is a data security and data security requirement. So data security requirement, confidentiality, availability and integrity, these are the three very important points. Okay, in next lecture we are going to discuss 5.2. Till then, stay home, stay safe, happy learning.